clearly see the effects of our own actions and climate change all around us. It's time to act now. My name is Hamid Abdul-Basit. I am an environmental scientist and activist.
We're joined now by Hamid Abdul-Basit.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Global Youth Biodiversity Network.
I don't want to discuss climate and environmental problems only in offices and conference rooms.
Tunza mazingira yanakupa reward.
In Sauti ya Kijani, I meet interesting people, learn more about their challenges, see solutions. Join me and learn how we can act in Sauti ya Kijani.
Karibu tena katika Sauti ya Kijani, kipindi ambacho kinaendelea kutufundisha namna ya uhifadhi, utunzaji na namna bora ya kuimarisha afya ya mazingira yetu. Kipindi kilichopita tulitembelea mto Kizigo kijijini Sasilo na tukaona changamoto kubwa ni mmomonyoko wa udongo. Binafsi mimi ni shabiki mkubwa sana wa upandaji miti. Upandaji wa miti ni suluhisho kubwa katika kutatua tatizo hilo. Na leo hii tupo hapa shule ya msingi Sasilo kukutana na Mwalimu Richard. Mwalimu ambaye atatueleza zaidi kuhusiana na kampeni yake ya upandaji miti.
Mimi tangu nilipokuwa shule ya sekondari nilibahatika kuingia kwenye klabu moja ya mazingira ilikuwa inaitwa Mali Hai. Kwa kuna vitu ambavyo nilijifunza Mali Hai nikawa viko ndani ya damu yangu vikanifanya nipende mazingira. Kwa jina naitwa Richard Joseph Beda, ni mwalimu wa shule ya msingi Sasilo. Vile vile ni mwalimu wa mazingira na pia najihusisha na utunzaji na usimamizi wa kitalu cha miti. Kwa nilipokuja katika shule hii nikakuta mazingira kwa kweli yalikuwa yavutii. Kuna vitu nikawa navifanya vya mazingira kwa sababu ile ndani ya moyo wangu kuna kitu cha mazingira. Kwa nilipokuja hapa shuleni nikaanza kuvifanya vile vitu, nikaanzisha bustani za maua, nikanapanda vimiti. Nilikuwa nafurahi sana kama kitu nakipenda, halafu unakiona mtu anakichukua, halafu anakitunza kinakuwa. Kwa hiyo ile kitendo cha kuona ile miti ikiwa inakuwa ambayo nimetoka kwenye mikono yangu, kwa najisikia amani sana. Na wewe hapa kwa nani? Yeah.
Mambo vipi?
Safi sana. Salama kabisa. Kwema kabisa.
Jambo. Jambo. Vipi? Uko vizuri eh? Ndio. Pole na majukumu bwana.
Tunashukuru bwana.
Bize kidogo hapa.
Tuko bize hapa.
Endelea hapa ni asubuhi yote.
Bwana, hapa tunakagua magugu yalota kwenye miche yetu. Pia tunaangalia na wadudu waharibifu. Pia tutakuwa na shughuli ya kuandaa viriba kwa ajili ya kuweka mbegu mpya.
Naona kazi ni nyingi kidogo.
Kazi ni nyingi kidogo ndio tunapambana nazo.
Hongera sana kwa yote.
Nashukuru sana.
Kwa nini wanafunzi? Yaani kwa nini umeamua kudili na wanafunzi hasa?
Bwana, nimeamua kudili na wanafunzi kwa sababu nimeona ndo njia sahihi, sababu nitapandikiza kitu ndani ya mioyo yao. Ndio. Juu ya hili swala la kuandaa kitalu cha miti. Ndio. Na hawa wanaweza kuwa mabalozi wazuri zaidi katika jamii waliko, kwa sababu wanatoka sehemu mbalimbali. Kwa wanaweza kawa chachu na wakanisaidia mimi katika ile swala la kutunza mazingira. Ndio maana nimeamua kufanya na hawa vijana.
Ni kweli kabisa. Sasa bana na mimi kidogo nataka nishiriki. Kidogo na mimi nishafuka hata mikono jamani.
Iliyopo.
Ndio.
Basi tuchanganye udongo hapa ili tuweze kuandaa viriba vipya.
Basi sawa.
Naam Mwalimu Richard. Sasa kidogo hapa naona kuna mchanga, kuna udongo aina mbalimbali. Naomba kidogo maelekezo ili tuweze
huu tunaoita ni udongo wa porini.
Udongo wa porini.
Udongo wa porini ambao unapatikana chini ya miti.
Chini ya miti, sawa. Na ule pale mbolea. Na huu kutoka kwa vinyesi vya mifugo na mali. Sawa. Na huu ni mchanga.
Huo ni mchanga.
Kwa hiyo mchanganyo wake unahitaji kama vipimo vya aina gani?
Unahitaji hapa tuwe na ndoo 3, na ndoo 3 na ndoo 1. Lakini sisi tutatumia mkono
sababu kama kipimo.
Kama kipimo.
Sawa.
Mikono 3.
Mimi nataka niweke mmoja. Kuna kama
mitatu tena.
Kisha tunachanganya. Sawa. Unasaidia kupitisha hewa na pamoja na
maji pia.
Na maji pia. Sawa.
Kwa mfinyanzi maji hawezi kupita vizuri kwenye.
Sawa.
Weka maji kidogo.
Ndio.
Chukua kiriba chetu.
Chukua kiriba.
Unajaza udongo.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I just wanted to say that I was expecting not to have all our panelists, but everybody's here now, and it's very, very good. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Olumide Idowu, and I'm the Executive Coordinator for African Youth Initiative on Climate Change. It's a great honor for me to actually moderate this wonderful session with great panelists, and we'll be listening to some great conversation on how we can transform the young people's, what the kind of project they're working on, and local lead solution. So we're going to be looking at accelerating transformative youth lead action in nature-based solution for climate change adaptation in Africa. And I'm very sure that most of us understand that the issue of adaptation is very, very critical for Africa presently, and how we need to continue to play the role of young people and to see how they can take action locally. So I want to say welcome to this panel and welcome to this conversation today. Please try as much as possible. We have a very great speaker that will be talking to us. Just keep those questions for him, because you need to ask how we can assess those opportunities, not only funding, opportunities to grow and to build our understanding through local action. So I will use this opportunity to invite Prof. Yes, I call him Prof. So that we can go straight into we're going to be having some conversation with him, and he's going to respond to some conversation that looks at young people's role and how we can transform local lead action when it comes to nature-based solution. So not to waste much of our time, I will please welcome Professor Anthony Young. Please, a round of applause. Who is this? So, please, Mike. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Olumide Idowu, and I'm the Executive Coordinator for AIC. I just quickly want to give a Prof to just do a little bit of, in 2 minutes, a little bit of background of who you are and how you actually get here. Because if you have not been really investing in young people, I'm sure WWF will not call you to come and do this. So let us just know a lot about you and why you are doing what you are doing. You have the floor, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me announce that because I came to speak with the youths, I also came with 2 young people, Julia and Bunsho. So they will be here to be the link between myself and the youths. Anyway, thank you so very much. My name is Tony Nyong. I am the Director of Climate Change and Green Growth at the African Development Bank. If you give me 1 minute, let me tell you a short story. I am an accidental climate change person, very accidental, because the first time I heard the word climate change was at my PhD. See, I missed the first degree, missed the bachelor's. And I was in Canada, and my supervisor asked me, I was doing something very interesting. He said, have you heard of the word climate change? I said, what is it? He said, I think it's coming. The UNFCCC had just been established, so it wasn't very popular. He said, this will be the big thing in the world. I told him, I have more important things to do. I came here to study engineering, and you're asking me to go do climate. Why? And I resisted for almost 6-7 months. Then I said, okay, fine, let's do it. And so it made me, the more I went into it, the more I loved it and realized it was a major issue. And then when I graduated, it so happened that they had just done the 3rd assessment report of the IPCC. And they said, but there aren't Africans who are knowledgeable in this thing to help, and I raised my hands up. I just come up with a PhD in climate change. So that's why I said accidental. Some of the things you go through life are unplanned, but you just take. If I had said no, he would have told me, okay, go ahead, continue doing what you're doing. But because I was open and receptive, and which I see amongst many youths, being able to take chances, take decisions, venture to where others have not gone, to leave your comfort zone. And that's what brought me to WWF, that we can actually do things together. When everybody kept saying, Africa has so much biodiversity, has so much the footprint, and it wasn't, I thought to myself, I'm not sure this is really true. Everybody looks at Africa as that destination. We can go for raw materials, we can go for whatever, we had it in abundance. So I called WWF. I said, look, let's work together to identify Africa's ecological footprint, if it's really zero, as people think. And that's how we came up with the Africa Ecological Footprint Report, which was very seminal at that time. And that's what helped the African Development Bank to have its first 10-year strategy hinged on green and inclusive growth, because we saw that we needed to do something differently. So that's why I want to believe that's why I'm here. And then we've also had partnerships with WWF, which has been a major problem for me, because the others, IUCN, Nature Conservancy, everyone asks, why don't you have any of us sitting in the bank with you except WWF? What is special? The specialty is that we have, over the years, identified the opportunities of going to where many others have not gone to, supporting the young ones, creating opportunities. And I think that's why I've been brought here, except it's different. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. When I started, I mentioned that, there's this narrative that the only thing young people want is money. And so the narrative have changed now. For you to hear about climate change in your PhD, meaning that we young people actually have we have the opportunity to have it now, so that we'll be able to get to where you are and even get higher than where you are. So thank you very much for your great work and your partnership with WWF. That's very, so we are here today just because there's been a lot of conversation about the role of young people. And the more I hear the role of young people, it looks as if they just want to listen to our role, but not, taking part in the implementation. But we look at the issue of nature-based solution and adaptation, and it's a very big area whereby young people want to also look how they can contribute to their efforts and also be part of the implementation. So I just want to ask you, why is it critical for young people to take the lead in this sector, and why do they need to actually have not only their voice but also be part of the implementation?
Okay, thank you. I think I accepted this invitation for 3 reasons, and I'll tell you. The first is, it came from WWF. I've already explained our relationship. The second is, it's about our youth. I'm passionate about our youth. I believe this is the engine house of the world. Many years ago, I had quarreled with some of my colleagues, the older generation, that we should stop saying the youth are tomorrow's leaders. They are leaders today. Tomorrow will never come. And let's understand what it is. Median age in Africa, 19 years. That could be an asset, or it could be a disaster. And we've chosen that this is an asset. Every year, countries like Canada bring in people to their economies. You know why? Because you need a certain level of population growth to grow your economy. The skills that come with the young ones. So if they are doing everything to bring people over, with all manner of visas, why are we not appreciating our own, the ones that we have here? Is it until they go out that they become important? We need to. And then thirdly, this is about nature-based solution. We do not have the Eiffel Tower. We do not have the Tower of Babylon in Africa. What do we have? Our elephants, our trees, our exotic species. That's what we have. We need to preserve this. This is a solution to many of the disasters we're going to be finding. We have nature-based solutions for it. Let me give you an instance. When we use solar to generate electricity, what is it? It's a nature-based solution. Solar is energy, from nature. We don't have the amount of money that other countries have to do sea walls, but we have our mangroves who do the same job at a fraction of the cost. So the youths are very important to us. How many of us know M-Pesa? M-Pesa in Kenya. You think it was done in Germany or in London? It was in Africa. Young people sat together and created what has become the mother of all money transfers everywhere in the world. That same can-do spirit is still here amongst our youths. They did it before, and they can do it. And so that indefatigable spirit of being adventurous, of trying what others may not have tried, is what makes our youth different. Don't let my set ever tell you it can never be done. It was never done. It's never been done that way. It won't work. No. You come up with your own ideas and push your ideas through. Most times I have seen our youth sit and look for validation from us. Yes, we can work with you, but frankly, the ideas will remain your ideas. And finally, adaptation. I'm passionate about it. That's Africa's main issue. We generate so little emissions. And I've told people, if every African dies and does not decompose, we would have saved 3% of global emission. And I don't think that's a good investment or a good return on investment. But I can tell you the devastating impacts of climate change on the economy, on social lives, on everything you can imagine. So we put a lot of resources in it. So I want to see our youths take those decisions, take those tough roles in seeing what can we do with this nature that we have to use it to combat Africa's challenges. We're seeing many of them. I'll talk to you about them because we have initiatives like the Youth Adapt, where we're funding people who are turning the deserts in Egypt into fertile ground. We are seeing educational systems. We are seeing people come up with brand new agricultural innovations, young people, not old ones. And we give these awards every year to young people who are doing wonderful things.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to emphasize on the issue of adaptation. And I think it's very important for us as young people to start looking at innovation and initiative around adaptation so that we'll be able to save Africa, as you said. Thank you very much, sir. I just want to put this two questions in one. What do you think should be the role of government, private sector, and even the role of AFD? We've already mentioned some program AFD is doing to support nature-based solution. But I just want to also say that what will be your call to action for young people moving forward? To, like you said, adaptation is very key. And can you just, let us know the role of what the bank will be doing and private sector and other agencies have been doing in putting the role of nature-based solution together? Thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot that can and should be done. The first is we should understand the age brackets and the things we want from our youths. I doubt how many of us here can go to the bank, say, I'm a young person, I have brilliant ideas. I want the bank to finance it, whether it's Bank of Ghana or African Development, any other bank. It will be very difficult because you don't have the collateral, you don't have the experience, you don't have the this, you don't have the, and they list all the things you don't have. And so it becomes very difficult for you to access grants, even when you have wonderful, brilliant ideas. So the first thing is to unlock, create that access that allows you to get resources. The resources could be in money, it could be in capacity, it could be in advice, something, but you need it. And that's the first thing that we have to look at. For that, the African Development Bank has done quite a, we've partnered with the Global Center on Adaptation and created a youth challenge that gives about $100,000 to youth-owned organizations that have won. The first one we did, we selected 10 people. 8.5 were women-owned companies, 1.5 men. There was nothing, it was purely merit. Why I say 8.5 was because one of them was husband and wife that owned the company, so the man took half of that. But I'm sure it was the influence of the wife that even made it possible. So we do that. And the idea is, you have an idea, you've incubated your company, but there's a value of death for which you are unable to cross, to being able to access SME finances. So we take you through that value with that money. We don't give it to you, so you don't go look for a used Mercedes car to buy. Not that it's not good to buy a car, but let's first of all look at your goals. What did you want to achieve? And we pay you based on the milestones. We give you business-to-business support, hand-holding, incubation, money, training, and everything that you need, and takes you there. Then we've also established what we call the Youth Entrepreneurship Investment Bank. That the only criterion that you need to access that money, you must be a youth. That's all. People like us, sorry, we've passed that age. We can't benefit from that money. And so we have things that need to be done. The government needs to create the enabling policy. A lot of governments have control over these financial resources. They need to create the enabling environment to allow those financial institutions to lend. We have what we call AFAWA, the Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa. $5 billion of AFDB money going in there. And we find it difficult, even when we give that money to banks and say, lend to these women, because the people working in the bank don't understand that line of business. What does it take? What does it mean to have only women as your clients? We realized that they were not disbursing. So we now had to go back and train the bankers, let them understand that this money is not just to be kept in the shelf. They were to be disbursed and so on. We are hoping that what the Youth Entrepreneurship Investment Bank will be the same thing, that we're going to encourage young people to access resources. Having said that, the civil societies and so on, fine. I have realized that most times it's not money that is the barrier to good investments, it's the idea. It's the idea. So we try to train people, how do you write a good proposal to be able to deliver what you want to be delivered? Most times people just say, oh, I have this wonderful idea, I need money. And I sit back and I ask you 2-3 questions, and you can't answer the questions. Then it means you're not ready. We need to do something else with you. So please, while the resources might be scarce, it is also important that you know you need to have a business idea, you need to have a business plan. Most people, many people I've met, I ask them, do you have a business plan? No. You just have an idea and you want money. Where are you going to? I don't know. How do you intend to get there? I don't know. But it's not a bad thing. We can't afford to know everything before we start. We should be there to help you. The societies, the organizations, the civil society organizations that work with you should be able to guide you and move you on. Sometimes it's not the big money. to bring out the ideas. It's just being able to exchange with people that are knowledgeable, but make sure they don't kill your dreams. Make sure they don't kill your career or kill your aspiration, but they explain and learn. Even amongst yourselves, there should be peer-to-peer learning. Some of you are successful, have done more than others. So those who are successful, who've done more than others, should be able to help the others and take them on. Nobody's candle is dimmed because you used it to light another candle. That competition, that individualness, that selfishness, we need to shed it aside. You've learned, show somebody else. Thank you.
Yeah, please give Prof a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful contribution. I just want to, I'm sure you still wait to listen to some of our young people. So we are going to have a sort of round of, conversation with some set of young people. Then I want you to listen to them and get to understand what these people are doing across Africa and how they are engaging different young people to push for. I remember very well last year the Youth Adapt project during COP. I can say that I'm lucky that a Nigerian was part of.
Why Nigeria?
And that's where I'm from. I'm just lucky. Yeah, so I'm just putting out there, guys. It's real. It's real. So let us try and tap into the opportunity that they are giving us. So I just want to know if, please, another round of applause for Prof for all those points. So I want to know whether we have Nehemia. Sorry, you say that? Yes, Nehemia. All right. And we have Gamid. No. Sorry. No, you can't sit here. You say? Yeah. Then we have Dorothy. Okay. Good. We have Lucky. Yeah, Lucky's here. Nomai. Sorry about that. Then Sharif. Okay, good. So if you notice what I just did, they are from different regions in Africa. How many regions do we have? Young people. 5. Okay, thank you. So let me go straight to you. They're going to be sharing some key points, key advice or key contribution with us based on what they are working on. So I just quickly want to ask you, how are young people in Africa, especially from the small island, right? How are they actually, using MBA nature-based solution to adapt to climate change and deliver outstanding benefits for people? Yeah, you have the floor. You just have 2 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your questions. In the small island, I'm from Madagascar. A lot of NGO and association use the nature-based solution like restoring mangrove in reforestation in general, and with the Ministry of Environment, the coastal improvement, to restoration it, and they practice the agroforestry, in general.
Thank you very much. I wanted you to actually introduce yourself to us, but you've made that point. Thank you so much. And let me go straight to Gamid. Gamid, you are from East Africa. And you guys are doing a lot when it comes to nature-based solution. I just want to know, what innovation approach are youth in East Africa actually putting in place, especially from Tanzania, and to implement the nature-based solution for climate change adaptation initiative?
Thank you so much. So my name is Ramin Abdul-Basit from the Tanzanian Youth Biodiversity Network. First and foremost, I will definitely put this answer in a nexus way, a nexus of science, policy, and communications. With specifically on science, personally, I'm also an eco-hydrologist on freshwater as well as marine, and whereby we implement and train young people to understand what are the approaches that they can use in a nature-based solution way that can actually bring solutions to the freshwater ecosystems and the marine ecosystems. And this is actually centered on nature and the people for them to understand the new concept of ecohydrology, because ecohydrology is actually a new concept, and actually the father of ecohydrology is still alive. And the concept puts human at the center, but human and nature at the center to see how the coexistence is actually sustainable in a way that actually lives in harmony, just like the WWF promotes it. On the other hand is the nexus of policy. We also train young people to understand the policy in the biodiversity sector, especially in the CBD arena. And we work with the Global Youth Biodiversity Network in Africa and globally, and I'm coordinating the country chapter. We train young people to understand the national biodiversity strategies and action plans. What can we input? What can we contribute in terms of our science, our backgrounds, but also our input as youngsters on our needs on today and tomorrow of biodiversity, because we understand the background of Tanzania, to be specific, is actually on agriculture. A lot of discussions are actually centered on food, and food, is, backed by soil, backed by biodiversity, and therefore the future of our food is dependent on understanding what policy are they in place for us to be able to have sustainability in that industry. The final nexus is actually the nexus on communication. Communication means storytelling. The video is just showcased. I hope someone was familiar. So that was me. And we actually I do personal storytelling also, to see how I can not only tell the science as an indoor awareness, but also telling stories of champions that are actually doing nature-based solution practices. In that video, we saw an approach called Kisike Hai. We actually put dead stumps, tree stumps alive. We use restoration methodology, all the FMNR, farmers' natural regeneration. The idea is to see how the unheard voices of nature-based solutions in the terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems are actually heard, and actually convey the best practices for them to learn, and of course the awareness to go on a global level on nature-based solutions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I actually learned from your different track. You mentioned the science, policy, and communication, which I think is a level of how we need to start engaging our conversation when it comes to nature-based solution. And I'm sure Prof is getting to learn also from us. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me go to my friend here, Dorothy, right, from Green Girls. So what are the barriers that prevent young girls, let us put in that context, when it comes to the issue of nature-based solution? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dorothy Gazombomwale, and I work with Green Girls Platform from Malawi. So some of the barriers that young women and girls face when it comes to nature-based solutions is, the first thing I would say is capacity building, to stimulate that confidence within young women and girls to be able to implement initiatives that have to do with nature-based solutions. They may not really have the capacity or access to resources or opportunities and information. Another barrier that I would like to say is lack of role models. When it comes to the climate change space, there are not a lot of young women and girls that are championing in this space, which means that not a lot of girls have somebody to look up to be able to take part and implement initiatives that have to do with nature-based solutions. Another thing that I would say are cultural norms. We know that within the African community, especially in rural areas where there's a high rate of illiteracy, there isn't a lot of capacity, there isn't a lot of education, and women and girls, they are seen as caretakers. They do not really have that role whereby they can make decisions. They're just supposed to, because of gender norms, they're seen as the ones that are supposed to take care of households, take care of their families, and they're not really given the opportunity to make decisions. It's men who are making these decisions. And I would also say that there's also a lack of access to resources and opportunities. In most cases, there aren't a lot of it's really difficult for maybe women groups or female-led initiatives whereby there are young women and girls to have access to resources. They're usually undermined. As somebody who works for a female-led initiative in Malawi, I could say that most of our funding comes from feminist funds, and these are our major donors, but we do not get any other funding that is long-term from other funds apart from feminist funds, because they believe in empowering young women. So when it comes to access to opportunities or to be in these spaces, spaces, then it becomes difficult. And lastly, I would say also there's still a lack of representation of young women and girls when it comes to these spaces. An example is maybe in my country, we have the local governance structure, we have the VDC, ADC, and the district executive committee. So that's the village district committee and the area district committee. As an example, I would say, as Green Girls Platform, we wanted to work in Salima, and when we went there, we decided to talk to the village district committee, and we realized that there was no women representation at all. And we asked them, why is this the case? And then we started to talk to them and also, try to explain to them the importance of having women representation. And the next time when we went there, they had women representation there. So because it starts at a household level, because of cultural norms, it goes up to the hierarchy, then you end up seeing that there is not much representation when it comes to young women and girls. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And, we keep hearing this every time, most especially the issue of cultural norms, which is actually in every, region now. And I think from what we are seeing today, we need to start looking at what are the solutions and to guide us. Let me quickly go to my brother from West Africa, Lucky. What are the key policies? Because I know you walk around that issue, and enabling environment need to support youth-led initiatives.
Thank you very much, Olumide, for that question. So my name is Loki Abeng. I'm also one of the young people from the Commonwealth Youth Climate Change Network. I work also as a research officer with focus on climate justice. And also let me say thank you to Prof for finding out time as well to sit with young people and also let us learn from you. We have, to respond to your questions, key policies. If you look at most of the NDCs of African countries, you would see, and I'm happy that a couple of countries, let me focus on West Africa and probably use Nigeria as a case study. A lot of countries, if you look at their NDCs, focused more, even though they captured both mitigation and adaptation, that we're establishing here, that adaptation is key for Africa. Most of the conversation tilts towards mitigation. But however, when you look at youth engagement, and also one of the things I've been able to do at the Commonwealth is to push meaningful youth engagement in the last 2 years. But I've also discovered that it's high time we also move from youth engagement to youth investment. And I'm happy, Prof also mentioned that there is now a youth entrepreneurship investment bank or program at the AFDB. That is one of the things I've passionately pushed. But now when you now look at policies that enables youth engagement, our policies need to be youthful. There needs to be a lot of probably revision or revised policy that will now bring a lot of young people, because from my engagement, I've seen that when some of these policies were drafted, young people were not brought to the table, and then they just came and saw document that they run with to support their initiative and their ideas. So in order to support youth engagement in nature-based solution, and one of the challenges that if you look at some of the initiatives that young people run around NBS, they are not as deep as you would want them to be, and that is because there's still that gap in them getting involved in the policy that even supports their initiative. So there is need to revise and also bring young people into the picture, and that could be one of the investment. And just like Prof has said, investment must not be money, it could be capacity building. And I've discovered also working with young people, the more you bring them to this space, they have this conversation. Let's not forget the fact that the climate crisis we are trying to solve today was caused by juniors from probably the generation of Prof. And it also take, before. Yes, before. And it will also take the geniuses of young people of this generation as well. But you cannot harness those geniuses if we don't have policies that also enhances. If you look at the regional level, let's go there. I don't know how many of us have gone to the ECOWAS, because I'll speak for West Africa, where I'm from, and I think we now go to regional bloc where you have the AU. I don't know how youthful ECOWAS policies around the environment that supports young people's engagement is. That's one question we need to go back to look at. but from the level of engagement I've had from Nigeria, and I think with the Commonwealth, that we're also beginning to see how, lest I forget, this year is the year of the youth within the Commonwealth, 56 Commonwealth countries. And there are a lot of reforms that are ongoing now to see that young people are part of the process, leading in front, while those older generations who are the ones controlling the resources that will support policy reforms just listen and allow young people drive. But before I end, I think one of the things we need to do with young people also is to allow them make mistakes. Sometimes the fear of making mistakes will make them want to go back. And this is where policies would come in that are flexible enough and not as rigid as though you're also trying to access probably $1 million from the bank for loans. So yes, policies need to be reformed. A lot of them, starting with national policies. Our NDC is the one that drives climate change conversation at the national level. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lucky. You've actually, put that context, said our policy should be useful, and we need to engage more young people. Because for me, I personally see that, young people, we keep asking for the table. We have been on this table for many years now. So I think it's very, very important that every engagement should be meaningful and should also be turned to implementation. Thank you very much for that. I quickly want to, and I want you to do it in like 1 minute. I want to, from Namai, right? Namai. Yeah, so how can youth in Southern Africa assess the resources, training, and support they need to effectively participate in nature-based solutions for climate change adaptation from what the kind of work you have been doing there?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. My name is Nomai Hatoka from Zambia, currently working for an organization called the Wildlife and Environmental Conservation Society of Zambia. So nature-based solutions is definitely a new term that's come in the climate change space. And I feel one of the first things that need to be done is obviously providing information for the youth to actually understand what nature-based solutions are and how they can actually be involved. So what needs to be done is to provide platforms for the youth to actually understand nature-based solutions, to simplify it, to follow. These platforms should obviously be on areas where these youths actually have access to, like Facebook and YouTube. That's one way that we can actually provide opportunities for these youths to actually access funds or resources related to nature-based solutions. As an organization, we've actually been implementing the Voices for Just Climate Actions program in partnership with WWF, and one of the things that we've tried to include or bring into the picture is the youth from the rural setup who do not have access to the information that the youth in the urban areas actually have. So one issue that came out, especially through the dialogues that we've had in these communities, is that there's this local knowledge that actually incorporates nature-based solutions. So how do we create this youth movement that provides an opportunity for these youth to actually, for us to actually bridge this intergenerational gap between the elderly who have this local knowledge that could actually be used for nature-based solutions, for these youth in the rural areas to actually use to implement some nature-based solutions that could help them locally adapt to the impacts of climate change. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you very much. And it's very interesting that you guys are doing something on ground, not only talking. Thank you very much for also giving some sort of platform for young people to actually be more effective on the issue of MBS. I want to go to Sharif. Yes. How can you and your peers, advocate for policies and support mechanisms that enable young people in MBS? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Olamide, and I'd like also to thank WWF for this invitation. My name is Sharif Vifai, and I'm currently working as a climate policy analyst in a think tank here in the UAE. I also have a master's degree in climate diplomacy and climate policies from Peking University in China. So when it comes to your question, I assume that we have an experience already in Egypt. Last year, we launched a movement in my country to talk to the parliamentarians and the decision makers about the environmental law in our country. And then we started to bring our voices to parliamentarians first. After they got convinced with what we are talking about, they invited us to go to the Egyptian parliament, where we got the opportunity to present our ideas, to do like some modifications or to do some edits in the environmental law of Egypt. Because like this law was not edited or redrafted since 1993, which was a long time ago. Now we are witnessing other situation that we didn't use to witness in the past, and that's why we launched this movement to redraft our environmental law in Egypt. It went successful last year, and we were invited to the parliament. We submitted our ideas and our thoughts on how we perceive the redraft to be. And the Parliament of Egypt adopted it. So that's one of the examples on how to create and how to advocate for policy modification, and how to bring young people to the table, and how to make young people empowered when it comes to presenting the climate policies ideas. There's also another example in Morocco. Morocco is so active when it comes to like bringing youth to the table, especially in the climate space and the environmental space. So since I'm representing North Africa, I'd also like to shed a light on this. Morocco has something under the Royal Institution that enables youth and that gives youth the opportunity to bring their ideas, and they actually give them the opportunity to be part of the decision-making bodies on climate change and on the environment. So these are two of the main examples in North Africa on how to create a policy change from a young people perspective.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know you have been working on this for many years, from what I've seen. Yeah, thank you very much for those contributions. I just want to quickly, maybe in 1 minute, before we go into an open mic conversation from some set of people. I don't know, please, is that Jessica? Okay, we don't have Jessica. Okay, so Prof, do you have anything to say with all these key outcomes that the young people have actually shared with? Some of them share challenges, some of them share what kind of platform, then somebody also share a very interesting project they are working on, Young Voices on Climate Justice. And also, my brother, you're talking about policies and how we need to make these policies work for young people.
Yeah, thanks. Quite frankly, I'm impressed with what people are doing. For instance, the Green Girls, it's quite important, and you shouldn't be surprised that you're not getting money from everyone, except maybe Try Canada is it's a feminist society, but it shouldn't be. This should be something that concerns everyone. The UN says leaving no one behind. We must carry everybody along in this. Nature-based solutions, very important. We've done studies that show that adaptation is not just a public good. There is positive return on investment, sometimes up to 24, 25 times. So for every $1 you put in nature-based solutions to some of this pays you about 20, 24, 5, 10, name it, down the line. So let's be encouraged that you can make money out of it. But let me just ask, how many of us here have or work for NGOs? Good. I realize that most of our youth work with NGOs. Very powerful tool. But what have we seen? We've seen where our youths have created NGOs to be antagonistic to their leaders, antagonistic to their countries, and for whatever money you're given from outside, they tell you, block your country, you do it. And it's very unfair. These governments don't know everything. And we expect the youth to know to put something on the table. Not just constantly being, you're not doing it right, critique, you put something on the table, let them know what it is. We were building a dam, and everyone came out and said, you know what, this dam should not make all the noise. And they were mainly African NGOs in communities that don't have electricity, and that dam is supposed to give electricity. Those who are paying you to stop the dam have 24 hours access to electricity, and you don't have it. And I'm saying, why is it wrong? You can't tell me why it's wrong. Why are you picketing us? You can't tell me why. You just know that it's wrong. You want to picket because that's what you've been told. So please, our youths, let's see ourselves as development partners with our governments, with our leaders. They need you. You have the knowledge. Put your facts and figures on the table, and people will discuss and say, okay, fine. If we can't do it this way, maybe we can do it this way. But importantly, provide electricity, provide the assets. So I want to encourage us, change your business model. Don't let the government see you as the enemy, because then they see you as enemy, you won't get the money you're looking for. But when they see you as partners, as friends, you can critique. You don't have to like everybody you work with. I can look at you and critique what you're doing, but not condemn you, but show you where you need improvement and so on. So I really want to leave that as a final word, because we are seeing many of our young people are misguided, teleguided by somewhere else, and you lose that touch with the government. And then we complain why the government is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Some of the places the government would want to invest in, they can't reach there. They don't know how to get there. We need those grassroots organizations, those civil society organizations to take to the last mile. But if you're not available and the government does not see you as a partner, there's no way they will work with you. And so I'm encouraging you, please, if you've seen the government, your government as the worst government on earth, step back and look at other governments and you'll appreciate that you can be a partner. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for that, wonderful contribution and how you've made us to understand that we should not be antagonists, right? But yeah, that we should rather see for ourselves how we can work together with the government as a development partner. Yes, we put strength in that and make sure that we speak to the truth. Thank you so much. I just want to know if we have Mahmoud Modin. Mahmoud, yes. Then Collins. Thank you. So we have this conversation I want to open to the floor, but I want two of you to actually open the conversation. Please let me get the mic to them. Yeah, so the conversation is just based on this, what we have been talking about. How can we better support and scale up youth-led nature-based solution for climate change adaptation initiative in Africa? So I just want you to, give us some from your work with Save the Children. How are you working to make sure that that is happening across Africa? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mohammed Osman, and I'm from Somalia. I work for Save the Children. If I try to understand your question and answer it as best as I can, in terms of giving examples from Save the Children Somali Country Office point of view. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So I'm going to give examples from Somalia because I'm working in the Somali Country Office. So what we do, climate obviously is a big issue for Save the Children, not just regionally, but all the way to globally, from a policy point of view, but also from a strategic point of view. So, of course, Save the Children works with children, but also works with youth. So we really do empower the voices of children and the voices of youth, particularly in terms of bringing them, giving them opportunity in spaces such as COP and regional spaces for them to voice their concerns. But also on the ground, we work with a lot of the community at school level. We also work with youth-led organizations, particularly those youth-led that have a very interesting ideas and interesting sort of initiatives. So, for example, one of the youth organizations that we work with, they produce interlocks for the roads, and they produce it from garbage. So this is something that we've offered technical expertise as well as financial expertise. Other youth that we work with is to give them capacity building in terms of renewable energy, like solar, for example. And particularly women, we encourage young women that are from marginalized communities, and we empower them, give them the skills to come up with initiatives, as well as give them finance. So I would say still early, but we are making stride. Of course, Somalia has a lot of problems. Conflict being one, flooding being another, drought being another. So we have a lot to do, But from what we have seen so far is we've given the children and the youth voice, and I think that's the most important and most powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Even back in Nigeria, the kind of intervention Save the Children is also doing is really, really great when it comes to climate change and adaptation issue. And let me come to Collins. You know, your role is very powerful as a youth program officer for African Wildlife Foundation. I'm very sure you have a lot of experience and example for us on the issue of nature-based solutions. So what is your own contribution and how can we support and scale those youth-led projects? Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. My name is Collins. I work in Zimbabwe with the African Wildlife Foundation as a youth program officer. But what I would, my point of departure would be to say that I think we need to increase or scale up our work, particularly with young people who are in the local communities. In our work, in the work that I've been doing so far, we do take a landscape approach for obvious reasons as African Wildlife Foundation. But I've realized that there are so many young people that are living within rural communities of Africa who probably don't even have a chance to come to platforms like these. We, as the young people who are in platforms like these, most of us has worked from the NGOs, from this little survey that the Prof has done. But most of them in the rural communities don't work for NGOs. They don't have those opportunities. They don't find their ways here. But they are the ones who are the custodians and who are doing a lot of work on the ground to ensure that they protect nature, they also harvest from nature. And what we've been trying to do is also to ensure that we also give them a voice, one, and we also try to work with what they want. What kind of interventions do they want? I'll give an example with a youth group that we're working together with in Bire. They formed their own youth consortium or youth organization of some sort in the region, and they had their specific asks to say that if we are not going to take us into this, and one of them was to show that they are into apiculture, they are all into keeping bees for honey, for money, and also to protect the forest, doing that. And they said, if we are not going to bring that, then let's not have a conversation. So it's also that opportunity that if we are young people who are in NGOs, let's also give them a voice to say what they want, and also let's speak to their interventions, and let's make sure that the money that we find from anywhere, from the banks, from anywhere, let's make sure that that money gets to the intervention and not get lost in between when we are trying to make those interventions. Let's make sure that that money, that in every single dollar, gets to the local communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm very sure that with your work, you're also making sure that even as much as we're talking about young people, we're not leaving the other people at the back, because they are also part of the people that stays in the community. So thank you very much, my friend Collins. I just want to quickly give, so that we not look as if we are hearing from experts. We have so many experts sitting down here. Let us just hear from, let us make it gender balance. I think we have two men. So if you are working on something, or you have a sort of idea or how we can actually increase, innovation on ideas on the issue of nature-based solution, please let me see your hand. If you have a contribution, okay, 1, 2, 3, that's the end. I need more women, ladies. Okay, so let me start from my sister. Yeah. Just please 1 minute. 1 minute.
Thank you. My name is Luta Alora. I work with Young Volunteers for the Environment based in Togo. Very honored to be in this session with you, Professor. And one thing that I noted is your encouragement for us to work with government. It's really important. What we do as an organization is that we start at the grassroots. So we link youth with, for example, we call it the municipality, for example, local leaders, and then build up to the national level. The challenge that we have is, at one moment they get absorbed into the system, and we no longer see the action of youth as we expect. So this is why sometimes it's very difficult to get the youth intervention that we're looking for within the government or with those who are working there, because they've somehow been subdued because of this engagement. My question maybe, or as a word of advice, how can we deal with this so that we don't have a lot of youth? We start strong, but over time, the flame burns out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll come back to that. Maybe somebody will still have. Sorry, I just want to know, do you have anybody from Central Africa? Central Africa. Okay, not yet. Okay, can we give it to my brother? Please, 1 minute, please, so that we can leave here early.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Enoch Mwangilo and I'm from Zambia. 1 minute, okay. I'm very interested in nature-based solutions, but like the prof, may I ask, how many of us really know what nature-based solutions are in here? Like we really understand? Okay, the hands are fairly few. So, and that's my point really. There's this new concept that has come and we may lose it if youths don't get the capacity. I know of the Nature-Based Solutions Initiative, and they're doing a great job at doing short courses, but some of those courses are really paid. And the people who are accessing them now, are experts and, people with the money to pay. And I believe one of the things we need really to get the youths to actively, effectively participate in NBS is to get them to get training, really, to understand and be able to be skilled enough to implement nature-based solutions. The second thing is, where is that one-stop shop for youth-led, resources that can empower them to be able to act? The resources are scattered around, and sometimes it's difficult for us to access them. How can we maybe have this one large pool where, youth can access resources here? I think that would be helpful if we're going to scale and have impact. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also have a feedback on some of your questions, but let's go to the last person. Okay, please, 30 seconds. Please.
Thank you. My name is Munza. I come from in Madagascar. My organization, Youth Community, WWF in Madagascar. So I want to share our initiative in our countries. Our organization focuses also in the education, at the children at school. That's why the children on day we will like us, like that, and we will the youth. That's why we focus all to educate about the recycle, the education about environment, to respect and to protect about dealing since the children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure Prof were able to get that. Yeah. So quick one. Let us give Prof like 10 minutes to respond to 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes. There we are.
I don't like gender discrimination. He gave the ladies 1 minute, came to the man and said 30 seconds. And that's not right. Anyway, thanks. The two questions there speak to each other. You talked about you train people and they disappear. And then you're asking, how do we train people? What do we do? You train them, they disappear. And I can tell you it's not just you. We go to countries, we do a lot of massive training programs and so on. The next time you turn around, they are with UNEP or they are with the African Development Bank. Then you go around the second time again, train more people, they have joined WWF or somewhere. So they don't stay. But I want to believe that if governments see you as partners, they're creating that pool for where they can get people. Have you already seen a business model there that can help you deliver that training? Let that be your focus, that you can build the capacities that government needs to do what they need to do. And frankly, it doesn't matter whether that capacity is in civil society organization, or is with government, or is with any other place, working within Togo, you'll be glad that something is being done. And if you partner with the government and they actually see you that you're training that, when next time you're doing workshops, they'll sponsor it. And that's how the things should go. My brother, one-stop shop is for lazy people. You want because somebody has to bring all that information and give to you, then you take it. That's the mark of laziness. Go look for that information. It's somewhere and do it. If you really need it, you'll find it. In the days of internet today, you will definitely find what you're looking for. And so please don't wait for somebody to put all that thing for you and give to you, you do it. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. And this is serious because there are funding organizations that will fund you. I'm going to share with Laurent something we've tried to compile, a list of civil NGOs, foundations, or so that provide some sort of financing for climate change and environment things. So your one-stop shop, I'm going to answer it today. I'm going to give you that one-stop shop, you know. But you wouldn't know what is available. Go on the internet, sit down, diligently look for it. Frankly, you will find people that can give you all manner of things. It ranges from $5,000 to $100,000 to $200,000. Depends on what you think you can absorb and do well. In terms of curriculum, I started by telling you that I came into it at the PhD level. Way late. It's God's grace that even made me relevant. It is important that we get the people from primary school. Give them, let them challenge you. I want to see your younger sister say, sister, why are you drinking water with plastic bottle? Were you not told it is not good? You know, kids can ask you anything. Then it stays in you. Next time you won't buy plastic bottle with water. That's the way it is. But if they don't care, they don't know, by the time they get to know it, their habits are formed, their lifestyles are formed, it becomes difficult to change that. So we support education, including this at grassroots level. I was in my country some months ago, and I talked with the chairperson of the National Universities Commission, about maybe 300 universities under them. And he said, and the man said, please, I'm going to put together all the vice chancellors so that you can talk with them. We need to have climate change in the curriculum of universities. So if till now it is not done, then you understand why it's not even done in secondary school or in primary school. So we support the sort of work you're doing in building that capacity right from when people are young. And finally, let me just say my own last closing word. Nature-based solution is good, but climate change interventions is about money, but not all about money. We're not asking you to do these things free. That's why I gave you the numbers at the beginning, that there's positive return on investment for some of these investments you'll be doing. But you need to be patient and willing. You want quick money, go buy a car, sell it, collect your money, go buy another one. That's not how investments in nature-based solutions are. If you plant mangrove, how long does it take for mangrove to grow and begin to yield the dividends it's supposed to? It takes a while. How long does it take you to plant grass somewhere to protect a wetland that water will begin to, accumulate? It takes a while. So I know that most of our young people, I'm not saying your parents, we call them the noodle generation. They want everything instant. Instant coffee, instant camera, instant noodles, instant rice. You just need it now. Let's be a little bit patient. That when you want to invest, the money will come. But let it not be your main driving force. If it is, then you probably might miss what you're supposed to do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Please give Prof a round of applause. But before we leave, I just also want you to please give our young people from different regions in Africa a round of applause for their comment. Because we don't have time, I just want to give a male and a female among them to just give us their parting shot, to just tell us what you think, encourage us here to moving forward. So let me give my sister Naomi. Yes, you have the floor.
In conclusion, is it on? Yes, I will add on to what Prof has just highlighted on the need to actually build the capacity of children at the youth at a younger age in schools. Like for us or organizations that work with schools, it's important to actually teach them about nature-based solutions at a young age, so that by the time they're growing up, they actually understand and be able to implement these things. So I think that will be my takeaway from this session. And there's need, obviously, to provide capacity, more opportunities for the youth to actually learn more about nature-based solutions and be able to implement them effectively.
Let's give to my Gamedi.
Oh, thank you. I think Prof said it all. What I will definitely say is partnership is key, especially getting back to us young people. We love working in silos, and therefore we definitely need to strategically work together. If it's in country level, if it's in continental level, if it's in regional level, then it's better for us to form strategic coalitions that can actually have a bigger voice. For example, if you want to reach AFTB with a bigger voice, we need a bigger platform for us to be able to acquire the opportunity. So I'll definitely say that working in silos should now end, and in 2024, let's do partnership and beyond.
Yeah, thank you very much. A round of applause for everybody. Just to close by saying that there's some key messages that Prof also shared, and I want to, most time when we come for this kind of meeting, we have a lot of promises, and I want to follow up through the process. And he also told us he's going to send you some, what do you call that? One stop. There's no stop shop for me. So we are going to be, as much everybody, you put your name on the attendance, I'm sure the office is going to reach out to everybody and start sharing opportunities, so that, because that is the only way we can continue to engage each other and get more opportunities. So on this note, I say thank you very much. Okay.
Thanks. It might be slow, but please contact me if you need, not money, I don't have it. You need counsel, you need advice, you need support, something to bounce ideas with. Please, I'll be available. And Laura has my details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's powerful when Prof said, contact me. Okay, so Prof, I will...
It's low in
responding. Okay, so let us make our boss here as the one-stop shop, so that if Prof is not responding, he'll be able to respond. So the only point I just want to raise is that if you have your name, your email address, your contact there, definitely the stop shop or the one place to grab the opportunities will be shared among us. So thank you very much, everybody. And I think we can still continue to have some conversation around ourselves. And we have some, food there that is made from nature-based food, right? So please grab something before you go, and thank you very much for coming. He said, okay, we are going to have a group photo outside, just outside there. And I really want to appreciate Prof for staying through. It's it's a big honor for us. Please give him a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that for us. Thank you.